Okay, welcome to my Facebook platform. My name is Teacher HB. We quickly look at this question that came last year. This should be GC exam 2024. The question was saying calculate the length QR. This is where QR is. We want to find the length QR. It was a question on trigonometry, and as you can see, two angles are given and one side, and definitely we are going to apply the sine rule here. So what is expected when two angles are given, you need first to find the missing angle or the third angle, this angle here. So how do we calculate the angle R? So you get 180 minus the sum of these two angles, because when you add all the three angles in a triangle, you should get a 180. So you get a 42, then plus that is a 53. So we are getting 180 and minus 95. So this will give us 85 degrees. So this angle that is here is 85 degrees. It becomes now easy for us to apply the sine rule. So this side, we'll give it a small letter Q representing the distance PR, the opposite of the angle. In this side, we are going to use a small letter P, which is opposite to angle 42. So let us check now what we are looking for. We want to find QR. So we'll start with the small letter P, then over the angle. So capital letter P. We need to consider the side and the angle where we have values. So we have the angle 85 and we also have the side. So we are going to use a small letter R for a side, then over the sine R. So here, P represents a QR, then over the sine of 42 degrees is equal to the side R is 16.1, then over the sine. So the angle that is here is 85 degrees. So we can cross multiply now. So we are going to have a QR and the sine of 85, which will be equal to 16.1, then the sine of 42. So we can divide by sine 85, then we can divide by sine 85. So that will cancel, or they will divide, and will remain with QR, which will be equal to, when we divide here, make use of a calculator. Ensure that the calculator that you are using is operating in degrees. So we have 16.1 sine 42. Sine 42. What we are getting, we are dividing it by the sine of 85. So when we divide, we will get 10.814. Then we'll have 1, 5, 3, then 8. So you look at the rounding off part now. So the answer that we have, the rounding off answer is correct to 1 decimal place. So even us, we'll round it off this one correct to 1 decimal place. So we'll get 10.8 meters. So this is the required distance, QR. So you get a 5 marks. So the most important concept here that the students need to take note of, when a diagram is given like this one, where two angles are given under trigonometry, you need to be sure that you are applying the sine rule here. Then it becomes easy for you to apply the sine rule. We advise that you also find the third angle. It becomes easy once you find the third angle. So we can find the third angle by adding these two angles here. We'll get 95, and when we get 95, we'll subtract that from 180, and this angle here will be 85. And once we find this angle, we can now apply the sine rule method. Then we do the substitution, and we'll still arrive at the correct answer. Ensure that your calculator is working in degrees and not in radian measure or in other function, because that way you may end up getting a wrong answer. Thank you so much for following this presentation. We are still doing videos on trigonometry. Remember to share the video. Remember to drop your comment. Thank you so much for following this presentation.